This recording is one of a series intended to support you when writing assessments for the Advanced Diploma in Strategic People Management and the Advanced Diploma in Strategic Learning and Development. This recording focuses on 7CO03, Personal Effectiveness, Ethics and Business Acumen. Assessments are revised on a regular basis, and this guidance is based on the June 2024 version. The last moderation window for this assessment is September 2025. This assessment requires you to write 4 responses that address 4 of the 15 assessment criteria, also referred to as ACs. The overall word count for the assessment for this unit is 4,000 words plus or minus 10%. To ensure full coverage of all ACs, this means approximately 1,000 words can be allocated to the answer for each AC. The extra 10% allows up to around 1,100 words per AC. The 4 assessment criteria for your assessment will be drawn from different learning outcomes, featuring 1 assessment criteria in each learning outcome. Different assessment criteria are selected for different moderation windows. These criteria encompass a wide range of generalist HR, OD and L&D subject areas. The assessment task is as follows. From your experience, describe and evaluate real-life scenarios where you have demonstrated that you have acquired the behaviour, skill or knowledge in each of the selected assessment criteria of this unit. You should inform your answer with wider reading to critically analyse your performance. You may identify a different scenario for each assessment criteria or use a scenario to demonstrate up to any 2 assessment criteria, but all must be real-life scenarios rather than hypothetical examples. You could consider adopting the STAR approach when structuring your answer. If this approach is adopted, the following areas should be covered. Situation, where you describe the situation. Task, where you explain what task or activity you completed. Action, where you critically evaluate what you did and how you did it. Result, where you critically evaluate the impact of your action. You could consider why your actions were or were not successful. The majority of words are likely to be allocated to the action and result parts of your answer. We will now move to the assessment criteria and look at each in turn, starting with those in Learning Outcome 1. AC 1.1. Make responsible decisions by considering different ethical perspectives. You could start by thinking about times when you've made decisions that require you to consider different ethical perspectives. What were those ethical perspectives? How did you consider the ethical perspectives when making the decision? We'll also look at wider reading in this response. Wider reading could come from literature on ethics, on decision making, and on the matter on which you made a decision. AC 1.2. Enable people to have a meaningful voice by involving them in decisions that impact them. You could start by thinking, when have you enabled others to have a voice by involving them in decisions that impact them? Then decide which to focus on in your answer. You could consider, what was the decision? What form of voice did you enable? Was it the best form? Did it achieve what you wanted it to achieve? AC 1.3. Self-evaluate personal integrity and professional courage in relation to ethical practice. You could ask yourself, to what extent do you role model personal and professional integrity? When have you challenged decisions and actions which are not ethical and explain the organisational risks? Did you challenge constructively and confidently in the face of opposition? Do you display compassion, humanity, and fairness in your approach, requiring others at all levels to do the same? Did you promote transparency? Is this an area you can develop further? AC 1.4. Collaborate across organisation boundaries, cultures, and other disciplines, including the value of embracing difference. The focus here is on collaboration. So you could consider, to what extent do you work inclusively and collaboratively across organisation boundaries, cultures, and other disciplines? Thinking about when you work collaboratively, you could ask yourself, to what extent do you embrace difference and use diversity to improve organisational performance? To what extent do you build trust, share knowledge, experience, and skills? To what extent do you promote positive attitudes and collaboration? And remember, the bullet points that we've considered for learning outcome 1 assessment criteria are just ideas to get you started to decide what to write about in your answers. Your answers shouldn't be structured around the bullet points. We now move to learning outcome 2. One of the following ACs will be chosen for your assessment. AC 2.1. Reflect on levels of self-awareness and self-management leading to improved organisational success. You could ask yourself, when were you self-aware? Has that led to improved organisational success and/or career progression? How could you improve? When have you self-improved? Has this led to improved organisational success and/or career progression? How could you improve? AC 2.2. Use business acumen to deliver commercial benefits and manage organisational resilience. You could ask yourself, how has your knowledge of external and internal contexts of the organisation delivered commercial benefits? To what extent has your business and financial acumen delivered commercial benefits? To what extent does your knowledge of data relating to products, services, and customers provide insight into people solutions? To what extent have you led and/or supported change? What was the change? What was your role? How did this contribute to organisational resilience? AC 2.3. Demonstrate impactful behaviour that is aligned with wider organisational vision, values, strategies and plans. You could ask yourself, to what extent do you align behaviour with wider organisational vision, values, strategies and plans? You need to check you have an understanding of your organisational vision, values, strategies and plans first. To what extent do you have a concern for business outputs and impact rather than just following processes? To what extent do you connect with internal and external peers regularly to benchmark, share good practice and anticipate future trends to inform future priorities and practice? We now move to learning outcome 3. AC 3.1. Demonstrate curiosity and passion for deep learning. You could consider, when have you demonstrated curiosity and made the most of opportunities to learn, improve and innovate? When have you shared good practice with others? When have you used feedback to improve? AC 3.2. Demonstrate continuing professional development that involves both planned learning and reflection. You could consider, how do you plan your CPD? How do you decide what you want to learn and how you will learn it? What kind of learning activities have you been involved in? How do you reflect on your CPD? AC 3.3. Network to enhance own career and contribution to organisational effectiveness. What networking activities have you undertaken? Did this networking enhance your career? Did it help to contribute to organisation effectiveness? You might consider planned and ad hoc network opportunities. AC 3.4. Share knowledge and learning to promote organisational success. You could ask yourself, when have you shared learning that promotes innovation and change? When have you shared learning that facilitates organic learning? When have you shared learning that creates efficiencies, reduces duplication of effort? When have you shared learning that promulgates an open and inclusive culture? We now move to learning outcome 4. AC 4.1. Assess approaches to decision making on complex issues, taking ownership to remedy mistakes. You could ask yourself, what complex issues have you handled when making decisions? When have you needed to manage risk when making decisions? When have you developed the behaviours in the points above in others? When have you had to take ownership when things go wrong? Go wrong in decision making, that is. AC 4.2. Demonstrate appropriate influencing style to communicate and engage with different audiences. You could start by thinking about different occasions where you have influenced others. What communication techniques did you use? What influencing techniques did you use? Did you adjust your influencing style for different audiences? AC 4.3. Promote organisational improvement through courage, political acumen, and the willingness to challenge. You could ask yourself, when have you promoted organisational improvement through fostering a willingness to be brave, challenge people and practices, and use political acumen? If leading, do you act as a role model, doing the right thing, taking into consideration moral and legal responsibilities? Are you prepared to view failure as an opportunity to enhance learning? Do you place an emphasis on use of good judgment, evidence-based for action, mutual respect? How do you choose the right language and communication channels? Do you have due regard for context and wider organisational reputation? AC 4.4. Use and apply evidence-based critical thinking in your work. You could consider all the times when you've used and applied evidence-based critical thinking in your work. There will be many of them. Which would be a good one to use when you write your answer? What evidence did you use? Was it reliable and valid? How did you think critically? What kind of skills did you use? That brings us to the end of the assessment criteria. We'll now look at how your work will be marked. Your response to each AC will be awarded a mark of 1, 2, 3 or 4 by your assessor. The overall mark achieved will dictate the grade you receive for the unit. Providing none of the learning outcomes have failed or referred, the table on the slide here will be used. So overall marks of 8 or 9 will result in a pass, 10 to 13 a merit, and 14 to 16 a distinction. But if any answer or AC refers or fails, or the overall mark is between 0 and 7, the unit result will be a refer or a fail. Initially, after first submission, a refer can be awarded. You then have 2 resubmission opportunities. If your submission doesn't pass at that point, a fail grade will be awarded. We have now reached the end of the webinar for 7CO03. Other webinars are available for other units of the Advanced Diploma in Strategic People Management and the Advanced Diploma in Strategic Learning and Development. Thank you for listening.